Alright, quick update on Optimism, ticker symbol OP. Now in this TA video we're going to be comparing how OP is performing against the US dollar. We're then going to move over to the OP BTC pair, and we're going to wrap up things talking about how the Bitcoin dominance, which is now heading up, is likely to bleed over into the altcoins. Let's jump right into the video. So right off the back, previously we were running off the 618 Fibonacci that we bounced from. We have moved up to a slightly higher level, so we are now going to readjust our Fibonacci's. And this box looks pretty clear now. 2.618 down here. We have perfectly bounced on at 0.77 cent. But we're literally sitting at the 618 Fibonacci from this move right now. So this line in the sand right now, if you are looking for hopium, which I'm not really here to provide, but the 618 absolutely needs to hold. 80 cent, last line in the sand. If we capitulate below 80 cent, we're probably going to come down to that price target that I talked about in the last video. Now, before we do talk about that price target and what we talked about in the last video, let's see where we bounced up to. So, we bounced all the way up to this wick. I don't see anything that it came up to on the 4 hour. If we head over to the 1 hourly time frame, there you can see perfectly candle body close on the 1 hourly time frame is what it came up to. So on the 4 hour, you can't see it. 1 hourly time frame, we bounced right up to this. So for example, you know, if I actually put this in the inverse chart, because I know a lot of people that are invested in cryptos may kind of find it hard to recognize, you know, a crypto that you're invested in is bearish, but you flip it to the inverse chart and you're almost tricking your brain because you're looking at a new chart. Let's pretend this was the all-time high, not including the mint price. So you got your all-time high, breakdown, typical accumulation cycle to the downside, like most altcoins do before they go on their next rally. You flip the EMA ribbons. So once you flip the EMA ribbons, you can see the trend is your friend. You are holding the EMA ribbons and you are exponentially moving to the upside. What can you see here? Came up to the previous all-time high, broke down, new all-time high, confirmed the previous all-time high as support, lollygag on it, and now we are starting to head to the upside. So in my opinion, this is the direction that we should be focusing on. And obviously, we are in the inverse chart. So, you know, whenever I see cryptos like this breaking into new all-time lows or going into price discovery to the downside, I do just like to invert the chart. I find it a lot easier to kind of see where we are going. But now we're back to reality, flipping back the chart to the normal perspective. Like I said, 80 cent, last line in the sand. If we do capitulate below this, then we are going to have a lot of momentum pushing us down to these lower prices. Now, in the last video specifically, we were sitting around about 82 cent, and I was calling for this macro move down to 55 cent. Now, we did have a dead cat bounce. We came all the way up to, like I said, this previous all-time high. We didn't even make it up to the 1.618. So this is showing extreme weakness. All we did, I imagine we came into the 4 hour. Yep, we literally, like textbook, like clockwork, bounced into the 4 hourly EMA ribbons. Now, there could be something reminiscent of a head and shoulders pattern playing out on this chart right now. On the 4 hour, you can see shoulder, head, and obviously, you know, like I said, this could be playing out. We haven't had it play out yet, but you can expect potentially move up to 89 cent. Am I predicting that we are going to move up to 89 cent? Am I saying that we are going to bounce in the short term? Absolutely not. It is a possibility. My prediction is that we are going to move back down to this level. You know, I don't necessarily care what happens in the next day, 2 days. This is what I think is going to be panning out in the next couple of weeks, and nothing has changed in that regard. We're pretty much at the same price. I mean, we might have moved down like 2%, 1%, 1.5%. Nothing crazy, but volume on the 1 hour starting to exponentially increase to the upside. Our momentum indicator, which is the squeeze bomb, is starting to exponentially decrease to the downside. What does this mean? There is a plethora of sellers stepping into the market, pushing the price down as we are coming down into major levels of support. While we are coming down to major levels of support, we're getting rejected from your EMA ribbons and moving down from our Fibonacci. So because of this, the momentum is shifting in the favor of the bears. So once again, you know, two indicators that work beautifully in tandem, and at this moment in time, they are both calling for us to move to the downside. 4 hourly time frame, we have just had a super bearish swing to the downside, so we are still cooling off in terms of our momentum. And you can see, you know, if we do come over to these higher time frames, I think the reason why we are holding up is because we're still holding our 618. So like I said, this 40 cent, you know, it doesn't necessarily matter what happens on the hourly, 4 hourly time frame, because as you can actually see on the 4 hour, we wicked all the way down. Not quite to the 786, we actually wicked down perfectly to the 2.618. So at this moment in time, you know, it doesn't necessarily matter what we do in the next couple of days. The macro signals are definitely there. I just looked at this and it looks a little bit weird. But no, that is definitely drawn right. When we come over to the 4 hour, it disappears. Oh no, okay, so it's back. No, I was looking at it right. Ignore me. But yeah, I do think the trend direction is still to the downside. I don't think we're missing anything here. Like I said, capitulated below the mint price. Where could we expect a bounce up to? So let's look at this trend. I'm going to get rid of some of these previous drawings that we did back here. We were sitting around, I think we were somewhere around about here. We were sitting at about $1.19. I was telling you, you know, we have a head and shoulders, nasty head and shoulders, and we're probably going to break down. This was when I made the prediction down to 77 cent. You can see we hit the nail on the head with that. We came all the way down to 77 cent, overshot it a bit, and I'm still sitting in my next trade. Like, I haven't changed my opinion. I still do think we are coming down to this price target at some point. We are just lollygagging to the side at this moment in time. Like I said, going to delete some of these previous ranges. And then let's draw our fib from the high to the low. So if we were to get a bounce, head and shoulders, 2.36, this would line up quite nicely actually. So if we are going to have a bounce, potentially expect the bounce to come up to the 86 cents. So from where we are now, and like I said, I really can't emphasize this enough. This is a short-term move. This is not necessarily what I'm predicting. I am saying this is quite likely to happen. But bear in mind, look at the Bitcoin chart. We are sitting on the edge of death right now. If Bitcoin breaks down, you can throw any chance of a dead cat bounce out the window. So while I'm saying it is likely, even if we're in a bearish structure, that we could come up, come back down, confirm this as resistance, and break down for one more leg, I wouldn't be counting on it. I wouldn't be longing it. I wouldn't be buying, expecting like a 5 or 6% bounce. What I'm predicting is a move down to 55 cents. So that is all I've got on the USD chart. 618, like I said, this box just really needs to hold. As soon as you start seeing 60 cent get capitulated below, we're probably going to head down. Now, before we do head over to the Bitcoin pair, the last time I checked this out, OP-BTC, I believe Binance was the only pair that had this, and it was a pretty broken pair, if I do remember. So if we find OP, let me delete it and get it back. OP-BTC. The last time I checked this out, okay, no, so we got more data on this. We got more data on this now, but you can see this is massively capitulating. So this is what I've been saying for the past month on my channel. If you go back in the past month, I've been telling you these altcoins are not bullish. You know, there's still so many people that are super bullish on altcoins, but look at the Bitcoin dominance. When the Bitcoin dominance heads up, it means that Bitcoin is outperforming altcoins. Pair that with the fact that Bitcoin is in a bearish trend right now, and that means that even though Bitcoin's going down, and even though altcoins are going down, Bitcoin is going to outperform those altcoins. So it means if Bitcoin goes down, altcoins are going to get smacked across the face with the Bitcoin dominance. And it's not even funny. I told you in the past couple of videos, I've been talking about this in all my altcoin videos really, but I said once we break above this 47.7, you know, approximately round about 48%, let's round it up to 48% so we can give ourselves a little bit of leeway to move up, then altcoins are going to get slaughtered. But bear in mind, you know, people are saying, you know, altcoins are cheap right now, but the Bitcoin dominance has only just broken out of this macro pattern. What we've been seeing in the past couple of months is a 22% move for Bitcoin, and people are now saying now is the time to buy altcoins. Altcoins are cheap, but the Bitcoin dominance, in my opinion, has another, well, I mean, I believe we're going all the way up to the 60% mark, which is another 25% move, meaning that even if Bitcoin stays stagnant and just moves to the side, altcoins are going to get wrecked. And I'm of the opinion Bitcoin's moving down to 23,000, which is where the 200-week moving average is. Let me mark it over here for you just momentarily. 200, oops. 200 week, and you can see right down here converging at approximately 22,200 right now. But obviously this is a weekly moving average, and it is replacing data points from 200 weeks ago, which the last time we checked were, you know, somewhere around about this 6,000 to 3,000 range. So, you know, even if it's replacing data points from 10,000, 20,000, we're sitting at 28,000 right now. So the moving average is going to be exponentially moving up. And because of that, you know, Bitcoin is probably going to come down to it. At least in my opinion, 23,000 is definitely on the table. With that being said, if Bitcoin goes down and the Bitcoin dominance goes up, then you're going to see OP get absolutely slaughtered against Bitcoin, and that is, in my opinion, what we can expect for the next move on OP. Let's see where we could potentially be coming down to. So we got a textbook rejection from the 618. 1.618 is down here at the 206. This would be your next move down. From where we are right now against Bitcoin, expect at least another 27% drop. After we do have this drop, we can draw another couple of Fibonacci's on the table. At this moment in time, it seems like we came down to the 0.5. So you would also have a 1.618 down here. So in my opinion, these are the areas of interest that we should be keeping our eyes on. I believe that OP is going to drop within the next couple of weeks, approximately 27.5 to 39.6% against its Bitcoin pair. Bear in mind, I'm really not a perma bear. I'm looking at the data objectively. If you go look back at any of my videos in the past month, and look at the price predictions, they've all panned out perfectly, and that's because we were looking at the data objectively. We weren't shilling altcoins, we weren't trying to get hype, we weren't titling thumbnails. Is this the reversal point for altcoins like, you know, other people do? We're looking at this objectively. The charts look like garbage. We have to accept it for what it is. The Bitcoin dominance is going up, Bitcoin is going down. This just means that the altcoins are going to get wrecked against their Bitcoin pair. So be very, very cautious. OP, this is another chart you can check for OP against BTC. But this is how Optimism is performing against Bitcoin. This does not look bullish to me. So in my opinion, a lot lower is where we are going to be heading for OP. So that's all I've got for you today. As always, not financial advice. Cowboy out. 55 cent, still on my mind. Cowboy out. Peace.